Welcome back to another video here at Sub's Garage. Today we've got the extremely filthy Johnny Tran fit in the shop. We're going to be doing the last little bit of stuff to get this thing ready for sale, which means, unfortunately, dropping the transmission again. It's got a noisy throw-out bearing because I used the bearing that came with the clutch kit that I have on it. It's also got a very aggressive clutch, and I don't think that that's going to bode very well for trying to sell this thing. It's a little finicky to drive, so I'm going to put a stock-ish clutch back on it, and then the clutch that is in this is going to end up in my silver car, which will then get the turbo, which is going to need an upgraded clutch in order to make the power that I want to make. So, we've got John over here that's going to be lending a hand while he's eating a sandwich, and then we've got an NSK bearing that is the OE manufacturer for Honda. We've got an Exetti clutch kit, which I'm not going to be using the throw-out bearing on because they do go bad a little bit quicker than a nicer one. And then we've also got a new flywheel because I thought I had a spare, but I don't. So I'm going to put you on a time lapse. We're going to get this thing all torn apart, and then I will show you what's making noise. We got car up in the air. We made very quick work of getting all the stuff, battery tray, intake, blah, 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 all out of here, thanks to John helping out. We got Nick in here, who used to own the silver car, looking like some sort of supervillain in his getup. So now we're going to drop the fluid from this thing. We're going to get axles out. We're going to undo motor mounts. We're going to very quickly drop the transmission out of this thing. All right, we are cruising right along. John over here found that there is a what on my transmission? Well, engine.
Yeah, there's definitely that.
There's
also a leak too.
Yes, there's a transmission on my engine, but there's also a rear main leak.
Yeah, yeah. So your rear main definitely needs to be replaced for sure.
So I wanted to get this just very quickly swapped in and out, and it looks like I'm gonna have to wait. So that kind of sucks, but whatever. We'll get a new one in there. So now I've got to undo the suspension so we can drop the whole knuckle assembly down and out of the way, and then get the axle shafts out. So we're gonna work on that, and then we're gonna hydrate, and then we're gonna continue. Yeah, so more time lapses. Well, we had the first casualty. The adjusters for the coilovers are supposed to look like that, and we got a little artsy-fartsy by accident, and yeah, the kink is not supposed to happen. Keep that in the bedroom. So I'm gonna have to get another one. right, as we have airplanes and helicopters above us, excuse for the noise, we've got axle shafts out on both sides. We got suspension all floppy dippy over here. We've got all the bolts out of the transmission. You can see that little bit of rear main leakage right in there. Transmission's already starting to separate. We got to undo that mount. So to do that, we're gonna do some sketchy stuffs. I'm gonna get a giant ladder and undo the motor mount from the top, as poor old John Boy over here supports the transmission.
Or at least tries to.
Well, if he drops it, he owes me a new one, so I hope you don't.
That would suck for me, wouldn't it?
Yeah, let's find out. All right, here goes nothing. You know, I've done this so many times that I know that I can get up here and open this hood fully without it touching the light.
Oh, man, that's close. Oh, you spoke too soon.
Oh, it's okay. I'll put it on my head. Okay. So this is going to start to drop, but the third man dealio is going to hold it.
Okay.
But just be prepared for any sudden movements.
Yeah. Oh, I feel some weight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There she is.
There she blows, matey.
Okie dokie.
Okay, hold on. I gotta get this bracket out.
Okay.
Get too excited. Shake it 3 times. You're playing with yourself again.
Oh, stop it.
Nick?
Yeah.
Needs ya.
What?
I'm gonna need a 14 and a ratchet. Top drawer on the left. And then the red handle. That one. And then the 14 silver guy. Thank you.
I feel like a transmission jack at this point.
I'm trying.
I know, I'm just teasing you.
Here you go, Nick. Thanks, Nick.
Yep.
Look, this one is hand taitaru.
Hand taitaru.
I'm gonna get canceled for that. Make sure the harnesses are free. Come on, Bolt. Come on, be a good Bolt. Be a good Bolt. Come on. You can do it.
It's almost there.
I know, it's just being a bad Fido. Can you push the trans up a little bit?
Yep. Oh, it sucks that I just had arm day yesterday.
Down a little. Right there. It was like in a weird in-between spot. Alright, why is it not? You too good for your home?
Oh. Yeah, arms was a bad idea to do yesterday.
Are you only doing the trans now?
Yeah, this bolt is very long. Alright, so now I can undo bracket.
There's something still holding it up.
What?
I don't know. Is there another bolt? Did you miss a bolt?
I don't think so.
Okay, maybe not. Yeah,
No, it should just be pins, and then the whole thing is being held up by...
Okay, I'm not moving anything else until you get down here because I think this probably just come right out.
It will, but we need to drop this down.
Okay. So I'm not gonna do that until you get over here.
That's fine. Give me a second.
Your second's up.
1 Argentine second. 1 minuto por favor. Okay, hold it. And then I'm gonna drop this so we have a room. Here it goes. Nick, do me a favor. Grab that pad that's underneath the diagram. Oh, see that? Now we're completely off, so I'm gonna put the lightest bit of pressure on it. We're gonna drop the transmission right here. Alright, you got the back side, I got this side? Yeah. You see this big ass lump of differential right here?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to come back and kind of do one of these.
Yep, so a twist. So
Yeah.
back straight out.
Oh, there we go.
Should be almost there.
Maybe. Everything
No,
off.
I think it's stuck on the subframe. On the back.
This one out.
Yeah, it's resting on the
There
subframe
you
back
go.
here. There you go.
Can you lift on the differential side?
Yeah, there we go.
What are we on? Oh, this fucking, there's one bit of wire harness here that's still holding it in place. Oh, on the fritter.
You need to get in there and hold it.
Hold it there for a second. I'm gonna get a 10 though. Squeeze. Always one thing.
It's always something.
Thing. Okay. It is
Arms day.
Dude, I did arms yesterday and it hurts so bad. It's a bad idea to come here today for this.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Where are you? I see it.
See it. I'm not actually really doing much right now.
No, it doesn't need a whole lot. Okay, hold on. We'll be right back. You always test the tensile strength of at least one item.
All the stuff you forgot to disconnect.
At least one item. Okay, this bolt is still in there. How? You're 10 now.
I should go switch arms, no big deal. I mean, his transmission's not that heavy, but when it's above your head.
And then the differential side is kind of the heaviest part of the transmission. Okay, so now we should be able to rotate it.
Oh, I get my fingers on it. There we go. Ow! That was my finger. Ow! Woo!
Holy shit.
Woo! There she blows!
High five!
Woo! You did it. Good stuff. Oh my god.
Now you're halfway there.
All right, so was this noisy? Oh yeah. You hear that?
Oh.
This is the bearing.
The input shaft thing? Yeah.
No, it's not the input shaft bearing. It's the
Throw-up bearing.
the throw-up bearing. Remember, you were like, oh, you have transmission noise.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah, that's it.
This is why you don't use the throw-up bearings that come with clutches.
Oh, man.
This one's less than 2 years old. It's a Nachi bearing.
Yeah.
It's not the NSK OEM. It does say it was made in Japan though, but it's noisy. You
Yeah,
hear
it's
it,
definitely bad. Definitely.
which is crazy. I have not put that many miles on the car.
Huh.
Okay,
That's unfortunate.
now we're gonna take the clutch apart and see what it looks like.
Let's see what that thing looks like. Curious
Clutch
to see.
reveal.
All right, we have clutch off and a nick. We've got, you can see here a little bit of seepage. I'm gonna get a new rear main because this one is just barely starting to weep. And I'd rather take care of it now than not take care of it and it be a bigger problem later. And then this is the Clutchmasters FX100 with the lightweight flywheel. Flywheel's still good. You can see it. There's not really a whole lot of hot spots on it. It looks very good, especially for how aggressive I drive this thing. But something I've always had. This is a Clutchmaster setup, but it uses an exidy disc, and every exidy disc becomes a freaking maraca in like 10,000 miles. Like this clutch doesn't have that many miles on it. It's got 2 years, and I don't put that many miles on my car. The pressure plate's still good. Also a little bit of hot spottage right on the very outer edge of that. Not too bad. But you know what's really cool, and I'm putting on the car after talking about how the exidy clutches always become maracas. We got more maracas. Yay! So
Not
yeah.
right now. You gotta put some miles on it first.
Yeah, I'm gonna. But I'm gonna have to get a rear main, and then we'll put all this back together. So I will see you in a couple days.
A few moments later.
Remember how I said I'd see you in a couple days? Well, I lied. They ended up having to seal locally, so went ahead and picked that up. Got the old seal out. That was a little bit of an excursion to try to get that thing out. Had to drill a hole, do a whole bunch of stuff to get it out, and it was a whole mess. Luckily didn't damage the crankshaft, but it is out and cleaned. So now we're gonna hammer in the new one, respectfully, and make sure that we're not damaging it. And then we're gonna throw all that stuff on so that this can go on and we can go vroom vroom. All right, before this guy goes in, little lube never hurt anybody. So we're gonna use a little bit of silicone grease just to make sure that this inner seal right here slides in nicely to the crankshaft, that it doesn't tear and it doesn't leak, because I definitely don't want to be pulling this transmission again. So next I will show you this installed. All right, new seal is nice and in place. So now I'm going to go ahead and unbox all the new stuff, and then we're gonna throw a new clutch on this thing. I am also going to put stock flywheel bolts back in, and I'm going to keep the ARPs for the cylinder car, since that will be getting the aftermarket clutch and the boost and all the fun stuff. Fun fact, the D16 ARP bolts for the flywheel will fit on your L15. So if you're doing an upgrade or you just need them because your stock ones are not good anymore and you don't want to spend a huge chunk of change on OEM hardware, ARP D series will work. So here's a little difference between you and the guy she told you not to worry about. You see the difference in size here? So that is where the upgrade comes in. This is a 212 millimeter disc. I think this is like 190. That's a stock fit clutch, which is so cute. But no Maraca. So I'm gonna see if I can maybe get this warrantied out. We'll see what happens, but I'm not in a super big rush to get that on cylinder fit. So now we're gonna put this on.
So Sebastian's over here working on getting the clutch bolted up,
Yeah.
as you can see.
Yeah.
There's John behind the camera.
We always use Loctite. Anything that spins, Loctite it.
Yes, very important. The other thing I'm working on is transmission. Obviously, this is the input shaft for the transmission. Now, when you do a clutch or take the transmission out at all, always clean this and clean this whole shaft off really well and clean the pivot ball. Very important because that's the pedal feel.
You said shaft and ball in the same sentence.
Okay. Anyway, so now this is the clutch fork, and you see there's where the ball rides, and on this side is where the throwout bearing rides. Again, this is dirty. I haven't cleaned it yet. Very, very important to clean these when installing you're just doing anything with the clutch at all. You pull the clutch out, clean this off, you're gonna have so much better of a pedal feel. Highly recommend it. Use high temp, wheel bearing grease or something like that sort. Use brake cleaner to clean it off first. But
and a harder bristle brush is really good to get in the splines of the transmission.
Right, of course. So always very important when you're doing clutch work or transmission work.
Well, John is continuing to clean. We have got the clutch installed, everything's torqued. I have not paint marked these yet, but I'm going to do so in a second. And then what you want is, once the clutch is all aligned, you want to be able to just very easily, boop. Let me see if I can do that with a little bit better lighting. So you want this to just very easily go in and out. Let me see if I can get you over here. There we go. Very easily, so that the transmission is going to slide right in and you're not going to have issues getting this all, misaligned. So yeah, waiting for John here to finish up real quick with this. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to show you why you do not use the bearing that comes with your clutch kit. This is one of the places where they cheap out the most. You'll see here. Give me a second, I'm doing this one-handed. Nick, you want to help out? Grab that. So he's going to pop that bearing out of there. It's in a little Exetti baggie, but it's not branded. And then you'll see that there's no markings on this anywhere. It looks kind of cheapy. It's kind of like stiff. It's not super smooth. Do save that Exetti baggie and throw that back in so that I know that this is a crappy one.
Sure.
And then I've got the NSK one here, which is what I recommend you guys use, unless you want to go OEM, but that's who makes the ones for Honda themselves. And this one says NSK in Japan right here, and it actually is much, much smoother. So definitely spend the couple of bucks. I think that bearing was like 20 bucks or something. And I think one from the dealer was like $47 or something outrageous. So I just go straight to the source. But don't use the one from Exetti. You will have to pull your trans again. You will probably find that your clutch disc is turned into a Maraca anyway, so whatever. But yeah, we're about to put this back together, and we'll see you for that.
Okay.
All right, you ready for this?
Let's do it.
We got a couple of 30-some-year-olds about to break our backs. Limber up.
Break our backs on a Honda Fit transmission.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That weighs what, 37 pounds?
That's the heaviest 37 pounds I've ever lifted.
Okay.
Make sure you lift with your back in a twisting, jerking motion.
Okay. Twisting, jerking motion.
Come on.
Wait, am I going in first?
Yeah.
Okay.
We need this side first. And then we clear here with this fan.
There you go.
There we go.
you just gotta light up everything else.
Is this guy in the
Input shaft?
No, this harness is a little there. I think we need to get up on engine. There we go. Nick.
Oh.
Sorry, it's okay.
Are we close?
I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, we're close. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Oh,
There you go. There
It's
you
in.
go. Okay.
She's in.
I'm gonna get a bolt. You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Go for it. Probably not quite lined up. There you go.
I got one there. There. Okay. And then I'm just gonna buzz that one in.
Okay. It's not like it's heavy or anything.
Nope. You got this. Nope, that's the long one. That's this guy. Okay. Scores. Where's my 17? It doesn't matter, I'll use a shorty. That's it.
My job here is done.
Yeah. You did it!
Yay!
Cool. Alright, now they're gonna go home because they have families and things to do.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna wrap this up tomorrow.
The next day.
Alright, it's the next day. I'm gonna get this thing all back together. We're gonna drive it today. We're gonna test drive it. We're gonna see how this new clutch feels. Should make the car a lot smoother to operate and easier for me to sell to one of you guys. Now that it won't have that crazy clutch. I'm also going to see if I can make a standard D-Series clutch work with that proprietary flywheel that is going to go in the Silver car outside. I have got a just off-the-shelf stock replacement D-Series clutch coming in shortly. I'm going to be taking measurements using the clutch alignment tool and seeing if I can do that. Because if I can do that, instead of getting that clutch warrantied, I think what I will do is order an action clutch, which has enclosed springs on the actual disc itself. That way, the springs aren't a problem. They're not going to rattle like a maraca. They're not going to fly off if I'm doing launches on the turbo car, all of that. And if that ends up working, it'll be a nice little hack for you guys, because what you could do is just buy that proprietary flywheel and then whatever clutch you want instead of being limited to their setup. So be on the lookout for that. I don't know if it'll be in this video or not, or if I'm just going to make it its own video and or Instagram post, but keep up on socials and I will have that coming your way. So yeah, I'm going to throw this thing together. I'm not going to bore you with a bunch more time lapses. I'm just going to give you little snippets of the interesting stuff and get to work, because I got to hustle and get this thing back on the road today. Alright, we've got all the stuff in here mostly together. Still got to do the battery tray, a little bit of wiring, some stuff. But I'm going to fill the transmission with fluid. And before I do that, I want to make sure all the hydraulics work properly. So I've got all the hydraulic components in here. You can see the clutch delay valve delete line right there. I got a little shifter cable. Shout out Hybrid Racing. I've got the shifter cables. They are amazing. So about that time. Gonna see what the pedal feels like. Should feel pretty much stock. And see if it goes through gears and if it engages. We're obviously not starting the car since, you know, there's no battery in it right now, but ooh, that is light. I'm so used to having a stiff clutch in this thing that all right, this should be, it goes through all the gears. There it goes. That's reverse. Yeah, should be good. Feels super lightweight. It's gonna be really weird to get used to, but all right. Let's first get out of here, and then finish putting this thing together and get it running. Something that I get asked quite often is what to run for transmission fluid. So the easiest, best way I have found to fill the transmission fluid is remove your reverse light switch and then just use a tall funnel. The fluid's gonna take a little bit to go through this tiny thing, but you don't have to be crawling underneath and doing the fill hole that's up by the axle. That's difficult to get to because of the subframe and all that. So just remove that and then you're set. I also like to use synchro mesh in all my Honda transmissions. It just helps out with the typical synchro, you know, grinds and type of things that happen with Honda transmissions. They're very notorious. I've done a bunch of B-Series stuff in my lifetime. K-Series are also notorious for third gear grinds. And this just kind of helps out a little bit more than the Honda MTF does. So what I'll usually do is just do 1.5 quarts of this, which is what these take. I don't have 1.5 quarts, and I didn't want to go buy another quart just for 1/2 quart. So I'm gonna do, excuse me, I'm gonna do a little bit of a blend and use some OEM Honda MTF along with mostly synchro mesh. And you can mix and match. It doesn't really matter. Some people like to do half and half. I usually just do all this stuff. But this is what I've got on hand, so that's what I'm gonna use. All right, the car's almost done. I got all the axles back in, suspension back together. That was a hoot. And now what I'm doing is something that's very important, is I undid the lower control arm bolts that hold them to the subframe so I could get this crossbar out, which gets in the way of the transmission. When putting these bolts back in, you want to make sure that the weight of the car is on it so that the bushings are properly clocked and not getting stretched out and having unnecessary wear and tear put on them. So I am using my third hand here. That lift arm is loose. Click, click, torque to spec. All right, and now I did all that with the sway bar undone, so I'm gonna put the sway bar back on, and then we'll put wheels on it, and it'll be ready to go. Now that the car's back on the ground, remember that guy? Yeah, I'm gonna need to see if I can find a replacement. But what I'm gonna do for the meantime is I took one off the rear of the car, because the ones on the rear are very easy to just pop on and off, and if I need to make an adjustment in the rear, I can just go left to right very easily. Where on the front, all the cowling kind of needs to come out of the way to get these in. So I'm gonna go through that process, get this one on, get the cowling secured back on, and then we're gonna throw a battery in it and see if it starts. This is the last little piece of the puzzle here, is putting back the strut tower bar. And if you have one like this TCS one, that's 3 pieces and the center of it comes out, a fun little trick so that it doesn't rattle up against the cowl or the throttle body is you can use a little plastic tool like this, little panel popper removal tool, to space it out. And that way it moves, because it's gonna have a little flex, and it doesn't come in contact with anything and annoy you, because I've had that happen before, and then every time that the engine had torque, and you know what little torque it has, and it would move a little bit, it would hit the strut tower bar. It was very annoying. So yeah, let's see if it'll drive. It might take this thing a couple of cranks for it to start, just because the battery was disconnected for a prolonged period of time. I have noticed that that is the case with this thing sometimes. I don't know if it's because it's got Honda or because of the camshaft or something, but it does take it a couple of cranks to start sometimes if the battery's been disconnected for a while. But when I get it to start, we're going to roll it back and forth a couple of times, see how the pedal feels, if any adjustments need to be made at the clutch master cylinder, at the pedal with the clevis. That is something you always want to do after a clutch job, is make sure that the engagement point is exactly where it needs to be, because there will be slight differences and you should dial them in. Here goes nothing. Make a slight adjustment, and then we'll go for test drive. We have got the adjustment made, and we're out on a test drive. I'm still going to be messing with it ever so slightly, which is why I brought tools, and I'm going to stop on the side of the road like a weirdo and just make small adjustments until I'm perfectly happy with it. I'm nearly where I want it to be. I just want the engagement point to be a little bit closer to the firewall and not so far out on the pedal. It's almost in the middle, but I'm very particular like it. And this is something that you do want to spend time on and get right, because if you don't get it right, it can cause premature clutch wear. It can put premature wear on your throwout bearing, and if you do end up having to use the factory one that comes with the clutch kit, which is cheap and you shouldn't do because it's $20 to buy the nice one, those are definitely going to die very soon, or sooner than they should, if you don't make that adjustment. So I'll be doing that off camera so that you know, I'm not arrested for being a weirdo filming myself on the side of the road. But yeah, car feels great. I thought that maybe it wouldn't rev as quickly, considering that I didn't use a lightweight flywheel and the clutch master setup did, but it's negligible, and having the slightly heavier flywheel is actually kind of nice. So it still revs very quickly. It's still very nice, but it doesn't drop revs as quickly in between shifts, which is pretty awesome. Maybe it's a tiny bit lazier on the revs, but yeah, it'd be super negligible if anything. But yeah, I mean, car feels great. One step closer to getting this thing ready for its future buyer. I think other than that, I'm going to raise it up a ½ inch, just because the car is as low as it physically can be without the coilover grinding on the axle. So I think I'm going to raise it just like a ½ inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. Oh, this thing sounds so dang good. Hitting corners like no one's business. Driving like a Honda. Ah, this car's great. But yeah, we're getting really close to being able to list this thing up for sale. So if you're interested in the car, shoot me a DM. We can talk. I don't think I'm going to be stealing all that much off this car to put on the silver car. Maybe some audio components. Definitely keeping my advance. There's a couple different wheels that can come with the car. But yeah, let's chat about it if you're interested. But other than that, I don't think I need to work on this thing for quite a bit. So I will see you back at the shop to close this one out. That test drive was a total success. I am very happy with how the car is driving now that it's got a lighter, easier to manage clutch. I think that at one point I had gone a little too race car with the car, and it was just a little bit too taxing to drive. I definitely think that raising the suspension that little bit and having the car realigned will also help a lot with making it feel a little bit more comfortable. Right now, it being as low as it possibly can, the comfort and handling are both suffering just a little bit. So I will be working on that, trying to get the car dialed for the next owner. Again, if you guys are interested in working out a deal for the car, let me know. It definitely is going to be up for grabs soon, or at least as soon as I can get the silver car on the road, which I will be working on here very shortly. I will be doing some little things to the car, mostly washing it, because there's a car meet that I go to tomorrow, and I don't want to show up looking like a mess. By the time that you see this, the meet will have already happened. But if you'd like to stay up to date and in contact with events I'm attending or things going on in the Chicagoland area that I'm going to be a part of, definitely follow me on Instagram, because that's where I post the most. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more content with you know, me hanging out with friends and some of the shenanigans like you did see in this video with Nick and John. I will have Sergey helping me film some stuff tomorrow. Maybe I will you know, film with him a little bit as well. But yeah, drop a comment. Let me know if you'd like to see that kind of stuff. And yeah, that about does it for this one. We will have some really fun stuff going on with hybrid racing very soon. I've got a bunch of work left to do on the silver car. We'll be finishing up Danny's car. Been doing a bunch of work on that. A lot of fun stuff coming up with traveling this year. So yeah, really excited to bring you guys along. Once again, thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel and the business. But that does it for this one. I'll see you on the next one.